Good evening, guys. Happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces, guys. I need to get in the shower and get to bed real quick because it is super late. I need to get up super early in the morning to go to the grocery stores because we're gonna go tomorrow. And I kind of fell asleep for a little bit and I still had to finish my jewel list. I had to finish typing it out. I already had everything like clipped and everything. I just didn't finish typing out the like coupons. So or the list of the coupons that I had clipped. So I finished that and now I need to take a shower really bad and get to bed. But guys, to say that tonight's game was stressful would be an understatement. It was insanely stressful. So again, we made it into the playoffs. We were 5-3. So if we won today, it would be really good, you know, for like the position that we would be in, like who we play and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of important. So you know, in like winning tonight's game. And this was a team that they are actually a playoff team this year as well. I think they went 5-4, so they were in the same position that we would have been in. Like they were 5-3 going into tonight, and so were we. So it was a very close game, and our kids came out the first half. They looked, the offense at least, they did not look good at all. Like we had 3 turnovers and the defense wasn't doing that bad, honestly. Normally, like on offense, we can kind of almost score at will when we want to. Like, I mean, against even some of the good defenses, like, and really good teams that we played this season, we've still been able to move the ball and like score points. It's just like, then we just give up, like, you know, like 8 touchdowns and we can only score maybe once or twice in a game or something like that. I don't actually know what our lowest scoring touchdown or like lowest scoring game was, the least amount of touchdowns that we scored this season, but I know we've at least put up points for the most part in most of the games. So again, the first half did not look good. We put the defense in really bad positions and they actually got a stop on their first, like on the defense stopped them on their first drive, but we also got stopped on offense on our first drive. So I think we got the ball to start and we were stopped. I don't even think we got a first down. And then we punted and gave the ball, you know, they got the ball back and our defense stopped them. And I was like, okay, like, you know, I was like, if our defense is playing good, I was like, our offense will always come around. So then the offense ends up, you know, like going back out onto the field. And I think we scored a touchdown because I know we were up at the end of the first quarter. I think we were up 7-0. The other team scored like 3 unanswered touchdowns, but I think those were all 3 on turnovers. I know we turned the ball over like on our own 50-yard line, or you know, like on the other side of our you know, side of the field, I think at least once, maybe twice, or very close to it. And again too, like the defense too though, like still they like held their own, but it was just like they were so gassed and I felt so bad too because like literally I think they did at one point, they did make a stop. I don't know if it was on one of the turnovers or it was just like after we scored again. And then again too, we got the ball back and then literally the very next play, our kids are like getting water, like they just came out from defense, are getting water and everything like that, and they're like, defense, get back out there, like because we turned the ball over again. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Like honestly, it's a lot of times we will at least turn the ball over, it seems like once per game, but normally I'm always like, once the ball gets turned over once, it's out of our system and we're good, you know. So that's what I was kind of expecting for today, and it wasn't the case. It would happen 3 times. So my dad was saying that I think there was a couple bad snaps, because it did seem like it. There was actually, I think, like 3 or 4 bad snaps, but I think at least 2 of them were turnovers. The other ones we recovered them. Like the ball was on the ground several times and we recovered a few of them, but the other team got the ball a few times as well. And then there was like a pitch play too, where I know we like we pitched it behind the kid and then they ended up, you know, like getting the ball. And again too, that was also like good field position for them too. I remember that one. But the other ones, like, you know, were just like bad snaps, I think. And my dad is like the offensive line coach. And so he was like asking, he was like, what's going on? And the poor kid, the center, was like, my hands are so cold. He's like, they're like numb. He's like, that's why, you know, like I'm not getting the ball, you know, snapping the ball right, because it was cold tonight. And I was dressed very warm and I was comfy. I was not cold in the least, but it was a cold game out. My feet got a little bit cold, but I was wearing 2 pairs of socks and my boots, but it wasn't as bad as last week, because last week I wore gym shoes and thin socks, and even though it was warmer last week, I just wasn't dressed as warm as I probably should have been for the game. This week I dressed warmer for the game, but it was much colder. So I think it was like 50 something during the game, which again too isn't horrible, but it wasn't really nice. Thankfully, it wasn't really windy. It was windy earlier in the day, and like earlier, like for the frost off game, it was like a little breezy, but then by the varsity game at night, it wasn't anymore. And I was like, okay, that's good. You know, we don't have to worry about, you know, like freezing cold, you know, and windy game. But it wasn't even like windy, like I said, it was just more breezy. So again, we ended up turning the ball over. Well, we ended up then, the defense held them like, oh my gosh, at the end of the game, it was crazy. So we came back, we ended up scoring. I think we scored again, but we missed a field goal. So they ended up, I think the first time that we scored after that, we scored maybe, or at halftime, I think it was 14, like 28 or something. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. I think it was 2, we had 2 touchdowns and they had 3. So it would have been 26 maybe, or 20, I don't know, 20 something. I can't do fast math in my head right now. But like I said, they were up like a touchdown, I think. Or no, they were up 2 touchdowns actually, I think, at halftime. I think it was 28-14. So they were up 2 scores and we were up, we had 2 touchdowns. So they have 4 touchdowns. And again, too, it was mainly all on the turnovers. Like there was only one time where they scored like on like a full drive. The other ones, like we gave them decent field position because we ended up fumbling the ball. So on 3 of those touchdowns. So our kids come back out and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, we're down 2 touchdowns and they're getting the ball at halftime. I was like, if we don't stop them and we go down 3 scores, I was like, there's no way. We're not coming back. I was like, the game's over. Well, defense stopped them. We ended up scoring. I think we missed the field goal on that one. So then I think defense stopped them again. We ended up going down the field. We scored again and we got the 2-point conversion. So it was like, I think tied up, and no, maybe it wasn't tied up, but yeah, maybe it was. I don't remember. I think it was tied up at that point. Then they scored, and then we scored again, but we went for the 2-point conversion again. Then they go down the field. Our defense stops them. I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. The third quarter, though, I don't remember exactly what happened, because the third quarter felt like it lasted for forever because there were so many penalties. Like, there was just flags all over the place, on them, on us. Like, it was just, you know, mass chaos. They went down, tried to score. Like I said, we ended up stopping them. Then they, you know, we are like, I think it was like maybe 6 minutes left though now in the 4th quarter or something like that. And I was like, okay, 6 minutes. I was like, honestly, we can put together a nice drive, go down the field. Maybe it was like 6 or 8 minutes. I was like, go down the field, you know, like, and score and burn off a lot of clock, right? Well, we go down the field and we don't score, and there's like 2 minutes left though. And I was like, oh my goodness, we have to give it back to the defense. And again, too, defense, like I said, normally our weakest link, and you know, like the offense had kind of come back through for us. Now at this point, we were pretty much, you know, willing the ball at this point, like willing the ball down the field, because just almost, seemed like every second play we would get a touchdown, or third play when we had the ball. It was pretty, like, it was pretty fast scoring. Our 2 touchdowns I know that we had in the second half were like big scoring, like pretty, you know, or like we had big chunk plays. So, but then again, to that last drive, I was like, okay, if we could just, you know, waste clock, you know, which they were kind of seemed like they were doing, but then they didn't get the first down and they got stopped on 4th down. So I was like, oh my goodness, okay, this is going to be close now because we have to put the defense back out there. And thankfully the defense came up huge on a 4th down play. So it was only like 20 seconds left, I think, or maybe 30, 40 seconds left, something like that. We were able to kneel the ball for the final final play of the game. And like I said, the defense was really like the big piece at the end of the game, and really throughout the game. I mean, I think they kept us in it, because had you know, again, some of those turnovers that we had, and, you know, turnovers, but also to just the drives, like, we've been scored against, like I said, the game would have been out of hand at that point, and it would have just been over. So it was a good game. It was crazy, but we only ended up winning by 1 point at the end because we went for that 2-point conversion the second time as well, and they ended up getting it. So and my dad was like, could you imagine though if we wouldn't have gotten that 2-point conversion, we would have ended up losing the game by a point because you know, I mean, maybe we would have went for like the field goal, but like because we went for the 2-point and we didn't get it, like then we would have been down by a point, and that's how we would have lost the game. I was like, but we wouldn't by 1 point just because we went for the 2-point conversion at the, you know, that last drive that we had. So that was pretty crazy. And at that point too, it was like still in the third quarter, so we didn't really know that it was going to be like a back and forth kind of thing like that. We're just like, let's just go for it because we did before, because we'd missed the 1 field goal. So yeah, it was a crazy game. It was very like a nail biter kind of game too. And again too, it probably didn't have to be as close as it was. It was just like we had so many, like, and also too, like there were so many false starts, and like we had offside penalties and stuff like that, like a lot throughout the game. Like at the beginning of the game, they cleaned it up later, which makes me think like they were just like, you know, they were very off at the beginning of the game. Like all the kind of stuff like that was going on just felt very off. And like I was like, this is not our offense that's normally out on the field. Like, you know, it looks like our defense, but in a good way, you know, kind of thing. Like they looked really good on defense, but offense, I was like, something is going on. They just do not seem like they're with it right now, because like I said, just like dumb penalties and, you know, just like, again, the fumbles and stuff like that. I was like, I don't think we fumbled the ball 3 times in a game that the other team has recovered in a game this season so far. I think that's the most turnovers that we've given up. So like that's speaking to how good our offense is, but also speaking to how bad this game kind of was, and to still come back and win it. I was like, that's crazy, because I was like, even if we were down 1 touchdown, I was like, I feel like it's going to be hard for us to come back. And then we went down 2, and again, the other team's getting the ball at halftime. I was like, this is going to be a tough one to come back from, you know, and I was already kind of like, okay, it's probably not, but like then we scored, and then we scored again. I was like, okay, this could be a really, you know, like we could still be in this. I was hoping that the defense would get like a turnover themselves, then it kind of like put the game away and make me feel like we really, you know, like we got this now, that the defense is, you know, like playing even more kind of like lights out than they were. But yeah, I think the final was 32-31 maybe, or something like that, something close there, 36-35. But like I said, I know we won by 1. I think it was 36-35. We won by 1 point, which is kind of crazy, but that means that hopefully we will end up in a better spot in the playoffs now, which is also really awesome. But yeah, it was a crazy game. So then I came home, ended up like eating, because like all the coaches ended up like going out and celebrating. They did last week for homecoming too, but then they did again tonight, since it was like, oh, we made it to the playoffs kind of thing. But like Jack and my dad still were kind of back, not super late, so like I finished eating dinner, and then I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go and take a shower and like finish my grocery list. And I like completely passed out, fell asleep in my bed. And so I'm like, I need to actually get up now and go and take a shower and get to bed for real, because I have to get up again, and you know, like in the morning, and you know, to go grocery shopping, which I already got like a few hours of sleep, but I need to go to actual bed now and get take a shower and everything. So I'll see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.